Luis. This is Mr. Luis Bazan. He is the director and CEO of the Pharr Bridge. Thank you, Luis, for having us today for the interview.
No, quite the contrary. Thank you, Raimundo, for the opportunity to be here with you today. Always a pleasure.
It's my pleasure. Hey, Luis, what is going on? Tell us a little bit in context what's going on and what is the importance of the Pharr Bridge.
So to put things into context, the main priority of the Pharr International Bridge is obviously to keep the doors open for trade, for legitimate, safe, and secure trade. So what are we doing, in the city of Pharr through the leadership of our mayor, the city commissioners, and city management is we're putting skin in the game. We're actually putting money into projects, into infrastructure projects that are going to be able to streamline the operations of the port of entry on the U.S. side and the Mexico side in order to facilitate trade, again, legitimate, secure, and safe trade. We're a part of a bigger picture master plan. And the bigger picture that I'm talking about is the Texas-Mexico border transportation master plan. That's at the state level. But with the federal government, because we oversee operations for the bridge, which is owned by the city of Pharr, but our coordination and our collaboration efforts are with CBP, or Customs and Border Protection, on the U.S. side, and with SAT or ANAM on the Mexico side. So when I talk about infrastructure, I mean we're part of a program that allows us as a city, as a municipality, to invest money in much needed infrastructure that's going to allow the port, again, to operate more effectively, more efficiently, and to streamline the entire process for trade.
That is great. Tell me, in the last 5 years, how much have you or this entity, the Pharr Bridge, has invested on these type of projects, and how is the impact on the area for these?
Yes. So I mean, if we go back 5 years, that's when we started the planning process for one project, for one set of projects. So we barely broke ground on that project. I'd say we barely did because it seems like just yesterday, but it's been over 2 years. We broke ground on one project back in 2020 during the pandemic. That was in the later part of 2020 in November. So by the time it's all said and done, Raimundo, the city of Pharr will have invested over $100 million in projects, and not just the projects inside the port. Not just what we call the donations acceptance program projects, which is the 2 commercial entries and the exits, not just the expansion of the dock for the dry dock, the cold inspection facility, and the ag laboratory, but also an expansion, a physical expansion of the bridge. So we're building a twin bridge. We're building another bridge adjacent to the current bridge. So at the end of the day, with inflation, with the cost of materials, you're looking at way over $100 million of investment on behalf of the city for these projects.
Nice. And now, statistically talking, what's the crossing today against California, and in which place is Pharr Bridge today?
So right now, if you look at the Pharr International Bridge at the state level, we're in 3rd place. And we came up from 4th place at the state level. So right now, after Laredo, after El Paso, Isleta Zaragoza, and El Paso, then it's the Pharr Bridge. That's just in the state. Nationwide, we're the 4th largest and fastest growing. Otay Mesa, California, is the largest one in the nation. So along the U.S.-Mexico border, United States and Mexico, we are the 4th largest and fastest growing.
Wow. Now it's been talked about the nearshoring that is coming, and this war, commercial war between the U.S. and China, and this huge opportunity for the border, for Tamaulipas, Nuevo León, and this RGB area, McAllen, Pharr, the area. What can you say about it? What's the opportunity? What do you foresee?
Well, that's the way you have to look at it. You have to look at it as an opportunity, but you have to look at it as an opportunity to get things right. And what do I mean by that? I mean that it gives us an opportunity to really set the pace for the future, because trade has not stopped. Even with COVID, we always refer back to COVID, the COVID year, right? Or the COVID years ever since, even with COVID, we were still growing. Right now, by the end of this year, in December of 2023, we will be at about $50 billion in trade that we're doing through the Pharr Bridge. That's trade value of imports and exports. And I can talk about the commodities or the types of products, the different sectors that we service through there. But I think more importantly, the fact that we have to take so many things into consideration in order to be able to be ready for nearshoring. When people talk about nearshoring, or when you go to a conference in regards to nearshoring, and that's the hot topic right now, right? Everybody's talking about it. It's not as easy as saying, well, companies are coming. There's over 400 or 500 companies that are coming, and we're ready, and we're going to incentivize them, and we're going to do all these things. Well, we're not ready. And I'm not saying that as us at the Pharr Bridge. I'm not saying that as in the city of Pharr. I'm saying that as a state. I'm saying that as a state of Tamaulipas as well, state of Texas and the state of Tamaulipas, because again, we have to think about the workforce. We have to think about training for the workforce. We have to think about land use. Where are these companies going to be installed? Where are they going to start up their companies? Is there space available? I keep hearing that there's over 3 million square feet of space in Reynosa, for example, right? Is it Class A? Is it Class B? Is it Class C? What are the companies looking for? And at the end of the day, also on the U.S. side, what are we doing? Is there enough warehouse space? Well, right off the top, right out of the gate, there's not enough warehouse space. And we've been having these discussions for the past year or 2 years. We're at the higher end there's no vacancies right now. So we need more warehousing space. We need more distribution space, because if you start bringing in these companies, and again, you have the place for these workers, not just to live, but also to be trained. Again, what are we going to do with all that product that's going to be manufactured? Where are we going to send it through? Yes, we at the Pharr Bridge are building projects. We're building a second span. We're going to be able to bring the product through there. There's other bridges coming on board here in the near future. But as far as warehousing, where is that going to be? How is that going to be done? What are cities doing to incentivize new investments or foreign investments? There's a lot at stake. The electric grid, the energy grid. I keep hearing that we're running so low on the energy grid. We had a freeze back in 2019, and we still have not been able to recuperate from that. Mexico has the same issues. How's the electricity? How is the on the energy side? The oil and gas side. There's so many things to consider. Water issue in Mexico continues to be a big deal. So we all need to come together, work with our associations, work with the maquiladora associations, with the transportation associations, customs brokers, the produce, all the other different sectors that we're servicing through there, to be able to ensure that we're all collectively working together to be able to attract, first and foremost, to attract those investments, and then to retain those investments through there. Because obviously it's going to pay big dividends in the end once we do that. But right now, nobody's ready. I don't care what anybody says. Nobody's ready for that right now.
But what are the steps that you would suggest to be ready? And that's one. And another one, as you know, we're going to have a big event in a conference in Los Angeles, California, for investors on nearshoring industrial parks. For that audience, what is the incentives or whatever they can get to invest in the Pharr Bridge? I mean,
so just to kind of put things into perspective, even before nearshoring, and nearshoring is nothing new, right? It's just been in the last year or so, it's become something that's, like I said, a hot topic. But we took a deep dive last year, and we learned as we were learning about the lack of warehouse space, and we started in Pharr from a regional perspective, from a regional standpoint. We started the Industrial Warehouse Summit. Now, this is only one piece. I'm not saying this is going to solve the issue. I'm not saying this is the total incentive. It's only the beginning, and we're only beginning to scratch the surface on it. So by putting together this program called the Industrial Warehouse Summit, it allows us to bring in the investors, because we talk to a lot of people, as you could imagine. We're the gateway for trade. So when there's a new investment coming to town, most of the time, I would say about 90+% of the time, they're going to come and talk to Bridge, right? I'm not saying they're going to talk to me, but they're going to talk to somebody at the Bridge. They're going to say, hey, I'm looking at all these warehouses that are being built or that were built in the last few years. Where can I find land? How can I build? Can you get me a builder? Can you get me a developer? So that's when we said to ourselves, okay, we can start this. And we started it back in April. We kicked it off. Again, the Industrial Warehouse Summit. We had, I would say, if I'm guessing here, because I don't recall the number, we had well over 100 people attend this event. I think 120, 130 people. I forget exactly how many, but it wasn't just the investors. It was the developers. It was the developers, and not just the developers, any developer, industrial real estate developers. And we also had realtor companies, you know, that are, and people and companies that are looking at just the land use, but also the availability of space to build these warehouses, and in the logistics as well. So the bankers on the banking side, on the finance side, we brought in the majority of the banks, and we were the first ones to actually put something like this together. So we're excited about the future with that, because we're already planning part 2, and part 2 is coming on August the 24th. So we're going to build on the successes of the first one, bring back the banks, but also in this case, bring back the cities, bring the cities into the mix, and the economic development corporations, because they're the ones that can, again, that are their main priority. Their main job is to attract industry and to retain industry, to create jobs and to create prosperity for the regions.
One more question, Luis. I saw in the page, in the web page, that you have like a membership association, like Canacar, Anier, RGB partnership. Can you talk a little bit of this membership?
Yes, of course. So we pride ourselves at the bridge of, you know, joining all these different associations. It's in our best interest to do so, because we're not the experts at every single thing that we do. We learn as we go, and the only way we're going to learn is by, as we say, tying the knot or coming together with the associations or the experts in the different fields, in the different industries, the different sectors, what have you. So it is in our best interest to join. Again, for example, Index at the national level, they represent all the maquiladoras associations, and we have our own Index association in Reynosa for the maquila for the maquiladoras, for the manufacturers. But we also have TIPA, Texas International Produce Association. We have Anier. One of the most recent ones is Anier. We joined Anier at the beginning of the year with the purpose of establishing what we call a global entities partnership. What this means is that we're going to be learning from them, but we can also bring in their successes to us. In other words, they have, I forget what their membership is like, I forget the number, but their members probably are not aware of what we're doing at the bridge. So if we can get on their membership, and we can get on their platforms, in their conferences, and do some type of sponsorships opportunities with them, then we can get in front of people that have not heard of the Pharr Bridge and the great things that we're doing in the city of Pharr for the region. So again, for all those that you see on there, we consistently add more. We just joined the IM or IAM, which is Asociación de Empresarios Mexicanos. Same reason, because they are bringing something else to the table. They're bringing us other people that we are not normally in touch with. And again, we're looking for folks that are interested in developing. We're interested in folks that are interested in investing. But at the end of the day, that's going to bring more trade to the region, more trade to the state, and internationally at the end of the day. So again, you're seeing that list there. It's in our best interest to join all those associations. That is the only way we are learning as we continue to move forward.
Awesome, Luis. Well, we are going to share the links of the summit and all the things about the bridge on this interview, and the link below. So thank you very much. I don't know if you want to add something about there's been said that Rio Grande Valley, Pharr, Mission, McAllen, all this area, all these cities, and a lapse of 5 to 10 years, they're going to be like San Antonio area. What do you think about that? About the potential?
You know, it's hard to say. I don't know if we want to be another San Antonio. I don't know if we want to be another Austin. I think the Rio Grande Valley is its own jewel. And I think we have a lot at stake here. We have a lot of good qualities, good quality people, education, folks that are coming in from all parts of the world right now. Honestly, they're moving over here. We have Mexico right across the border from us. So it makes us a very unique city, and not a city, it makes us a very unique region. So for that reason, I'm saying, you know, I think we have our own thing going here. You know, we could very well become the next, you know, San Antonio, but who wants to be the next San Antonio or the next Austin? I think we have the capability of becoming something even greater, something even better.
Awesome. And finally, thank you for the interview, Luis. We'll be in touch. Also, hopefully we have you as speaker in the event in October 16 in Los Angeles, California.
We're really looking forward to it.
Also.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Luis. If you want to,
Thank you, Raimundo.
thank you for the time. Okay.
No, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity. We'll be in touch for Los Angeles.
We'll be in
for sure.
touch. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Luis.